Welcome to the official Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society's podcast. I'm your host, Barnaby, and you're listening to Whispers from the Dark. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. I am your host, Barnaby, and recently I got the chance to go out to Utah to Phenomicon. I did not have a booth there. Caps did not set up. I was not a speaker. I just went out there as a customer and as a fan, and an amazing event, an amazing show. And if you get a chance to go out there, this was the second year that they did the event, and it's definitely worth taking the time if you're in the area or if you can get out there to go check it out. Phenomicon, amazing. Amazing group of people. I had an awesome time. It was several-day event. I got there on Wednesday and stayed all the way through Sunday. But while I was out there, I got a chance to meet with Ray Willis. And he offers a very unique opportunity. And what it is a psychedelic trip using just light and not any sort of illicit substance or anything. It is a white strobe light that can trigger the same neurological situation as if you were to take psychedelic hallucinogens or any of that stuff. So our episode today is going to be my interview with him and going over a little bit about the procedure or the device that he uses and how it came to be and stuff. And then I actually go ahead and do the psychedelic trip, and after that I'll explain what happened and how I felt afterwards. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. And without any further ado, Ray Willis.
My name is Ray Willis. I am the principal behind Umbra Viventis Lucis, a project where we use very rare technology that uses LED light to stimulate one's brainwave patterns to enter the psychedelic state, and users go on closed-eye psychedelic vision quests in sacred spaces. So we are the stewards of some acreage adjacent to Skinwalker Ranch in the Uinta Basin, and we bring this rare sacred technology to that sacred space in the hopes of expanding our mind's bandwidth to clarify an otherwise opaque dialogue with the unseen world.
Cool. So can you describe, we have a gentleman laying here, can you tell us what's going on? What does this look like?
Sure. So the gentleman who is in a session now has white LED light flashing on and off over his face. The lights do not move, they do not have color, there's no digital projection, there's no aperture. They are static white LED lights. The lights themselves are 50 cents on the internet for the individual lights. They're flashing about 300 times a second, and they're very bright. The patterns the lights are flashing are speaking to his brainwave patterns, alpha, beta, delta, theta, gamma. And that communication is catalyzing his pineal gland, his vestigial third eye, to activate. The pineal gland naturally regulates dimethyltryptamine in the human body, DMT. We are seeing a man with white light flashing very fast over his face. What he is seeing is entirely different. The device is a key that unlocks a door in his mind that he normally doesn't have access to. Once he steps through that door, I cannot speak for what he's experiencing. However, it is a psychedelic experience, and the standard congruencies of that experience are a kaleidoscope of abstract colors, sacred geometry, fractal patterns, tunnels, things like that. Beyond that, the experiences people have really run the gamut. There are people who see their auras. There are people who believe that they interface with entities. There are people who have reported having hyper-realistic encounters with deceased loved ones or ancestors. Some people are brought from that psychedelic state to a hyper-realistic landscape, a place. Sometimes they know where that place is. It could be a memory. Other times, they have no idea what the place is that they're seeing or why they're being shown it, or who's showing it to them. We bring this technology to our acreage next to Skinwalker Ranch and hope to better communicate with the energies and entities that live there through this methodology.
Do you do this anywhere else, or is that
I'm from New England, and we have brought this device and other devices to other sites. I have done sessions at the Tom Reed Memorial Bridge in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Tom Reed was a famous Berkshire's experiencer. I don't think we like the term abductee. I don't think Tom likes the term abductee. But in the 70s, he and his family had a powerful encounter on a bridge in Stockbridge, Mass. So we brought the device there. I have a studio in New Haven, Connecticut where I run sessions, and we're out in the Uinta Basin a couple times a year. Our hope is to one day establish a spiritual retreat center where we bring this technology and other modalities like sensory deprivation, transcranial direct current stimulation, God helmets, things like that, either half the year or all year round, to offer a facility where if you want to have these experiences and you want to interface with what we call the unseen world, we would offer the safest venue for someone to do that. This area is known for having difficulty with trespassers, trying to come near the ranch, which is very problematic. By doing this, we're offering a venue where you can have that experience. We have a hillside overlooking the entirety of Skinwalker, and we're trying to cut down on people trespassing. If they have a legal venue to experience this place, we're trying to help the community that way. Similarly, psychedelic drugs are illegal in the state of Utah and most of the United States, although that's changing. By using devices like this, psychedelic technology, we're able to offer people the psychedelic experience without breaking the law.
That's awesome. I am all for the whole Skinwalker Ranch and not breaking into it and stuff, and I think that's phenomenal. Before I forget, where can people get a hold of you?
Sure. Yeah, our website is umbraviventilucis.com.
Can you spell that?
Sure, yeah. It's UmbravIventilusCis.com. Umbra Viventis Lucis is Latin for the shadow of the living light. Our name is an homage to Hildegard von Bingen. Saint Hildegard, was an 11th century or 12th century Bavarian nun who had visions from God. She was constantly receiving downloads from the unseen world. She transmuted those downloads into incredible music, incredible art, prophecy. Saint Hildegard, was born the right week because another year or two, she might have been burned as a witch. But she was a saint, and she called her visions from God Umbra Viventis Lucis, which is Latin for the shadow of the living light. She's my patron. This is a tribute to her.
That's awesome. One other question then is, like, a lot of people say that the psychedelics and stuff like that, the chemicals in there can help rewire the brain for like people with PTSD, and other depression and stuff like that. So being that this is more of a brain stimulation and not the chemical, do you find the same similarities?
We do. We've worked with combat veterans with PTSD who have, days after their session, sent us powerfully moving thank you messages outlining what the experience has done for them. Similarly, we've had incredibly moving feedback from people who have had difficulty with sacred sites in this area, encounters with energies, hitchhikers, things like that, who feel that the work that we've done with them has been extremely beneficial. That is why we do this work.
Awesome.
How you doing, Paul? Yeah, was there anything further before you go into your session?
Why don't you just go over what am I going to experience? What are we going to do now?
Okay, so you're going to lay down on this cot with your face underneath the device. The device is approximately 18 inches above your face. I'm going to give you some headphones. There's a volume control knob on the headphones. There's going to be some soft music that's going to be coming through the headphones during your experience. You're going to adjust the volume to your liking with your eyes closed. Upon getting the volume to an agreeable level, you're going to give me a thumbs up with your eyes closed. The music will stop and the session will begin. The session is going to be 15 minutes and will end with the music. 15 minutes is a good kind of threshold experience for the first time for this type of thing. This is an experience unlike anything else, even unlike the psychedelic drugs that it's similar to, because it's different, because it's light and not metabolizing any kind of substance. Generally, people come out of sessions either saying, wow, I feel so relaxed, or wow, that was really crazy, in a good way. In my personal practice, I'll usually do a session for 45 minutes to an hour, and in those sessions you can go deeper, and it changes, and it's cumulative. The experience changes with use. It's very different for me than when it started. There are no quick fixes. People do psychedelic drugs to have an experience that we don't have the verbiage to describe. Let's see what you say on the way out.
Very cool. All right, so it kind of looks like an air mattress with a pillow, and then we have I know it's not, but it's like a strobe light on top for people like basic generic, and that flashes different patterns.
It looks like a $20 Party City strobe light.
Yeah, but it doesn't stay with the same pattern. We'll give this a try, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. All right, so I'm out, and it was, you're right, there's no words. There's no words of what it's like. So when I first lay down, the lights came on, and it never was white. Let me preface that. It never was like looking into a strobe light, because I used to own a haunted house, and I've looked into a lot of strobe lights on purpose or accident. But it wasn't like that. When I first started, I got super dizzy, like spinning, like when you're lightheaded and you're kind of like the whole room is spinning. And it made me sick at first. And I'm like, nope, we're going to do this. I don't care what's going to happen. We're going to finish this. And once that kind of went away, it took like maybe 30 seconds or so when my body started calming down. And then I got like a view of newspaper clippings. Don't know what that's about. That lasted for a little while, and then it just totally went into this, like you said, like geometric pattern. And it was all gray and reds to begin with. And that lasted through... The whole end there was no music?
There probably wasn't music for the last minute and a half or so.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
about right?
Yeah. So I noticed like at the end of it there was like no music. So about halfway through like the first song, or whatever we'll say, it was just this gray and red pattern. And then I saw like a green field or like a meadow for a little bit. And then it moved on to, I think it was more like blue and red at that point. And I kind of went down this like tunnel, and then it was like a water slide is how I describe it. And I turned around and I could look back up at it, the tunnel, and then that went away, and then it went back to more geometric patterns. And then towards the end of the last song, everything just went every color, like all different geometrics. It was, aside from the newspaper clippings in the beginning, the grass meadowy field, whatever that was. And then I saw a girl carrying a dog. She just kind of walked through my field of vision, like a little schnauzer, hairy lap dog kind of thing. I don't know who she was, but...
I can assure you there was no girl with a dog anywhere near you during your session.
I believe it, but yeah, it was just like passing. I just had this vision of that. Yeah, that's where it went. And I thought, like, at first, level breathing and stuff to see, okay, relax, meditation kind of state. And I did that for the entire first song. Just let's see what happened. So then I'm very scientific. So I wanted to see, okay, maybe this is because I'm staring at a light. So I started moving my eyes around to see if the pattern would change. It didn't have any effect on that. And the reason I bring that up is to validate, like, it's not an eye reaction that's happening. Because if it was, the geometric patterns of the light and stuff would change with my eye movement and stuff. And I did not have that experience. So then I thought, okay, maybe I can try and control it. And okay, I want to have this experience. I want to have a Bigfoot experience. I want to commune with these creatures. So I started thinking about that, and nothing changed. And then I thought, okay, how about a UAP, extraterrestrial interdimensional experience? And then but then I'm thinking it. So I don't know. But then it seemed like these little, like, typical UFO craft, little saucer, would appear in the middle kind of circle and then shoot off down that tunnel, off to the side. But again, it's very geometric, and the saucer and the lights of a saucer, like, around the edge are very geometric as well. So is it just still looking at the same patterns and interpreting it how I want, and it's not extraterrestrial or whatever, it's just seeing the same dimensions and stuff? But I think that's all I got from my experience. So what do you think?
Well, it's a key aspect of this project is for me not to interpret your experience for you. I have questions. I'm curious with the newsprint if you were able to, or if you had wanted to, would you have been able to read any of the language or characters on that?
It was very peripheral. It was like if you made like a collage, and on the outside of your collage, whatever was in the middle, I couldn't focus on that. I couldn't focus on anything really, but you could see like dark, like bold at the top with then like white lettering in the dark, and then like white lettering of text underneath it. And they were like clippets, like, not a montage, what is it? A collage splattered around the outside edge, like a picture frame of whatever was in the middle of this. I was too busy trying to mentally establish what I was seeing to read it and get anything like what it said.
Gotcha. Letters, words, language, people do report seeing. I've seen it. Sometimes it's in our alphabet, the characters we recognize. Other times it is in, I don't want to use the term alien because that's projecting something, but the true definition of alien, it is not ours. It's alien to me.
Chinese. I don't speak Chinese.
Which is alien, exactly.
Correct,
yeah, but also not Chinese characters.
Right.
Sometimes when they are in our alphabet, people report that they're able to read certain things. Other times the experience is like kind of some of what you described is so fast and transmuting as it's going that they're not able to capture. I find that to be a very fascinating aspect to the experience. Very recently, I had one of my very close friends who has been going through personal traumatic experiences, got written language messaging telling him to be a better person. I'll say that because it was very personal.
Thankfully, that wasn't my case.
Thankfully for his, it was, because he was getting the message that he needed. And I think that's a big part of it. There is some degree of agency I think people can have in the experience. I think when you demand of the experience certain things, you're probably not going to get what you're demanding. When you're open and you ask nicely, maybe, and you're just open to receiving, I think that's really where the value is and where the sweetest fruit hangs.
Like I said, I went in and I did the whole first music, whatever segment of it, and I just let it happen. And then I'm like, all right, we're gonna kind of experiment with this because
and nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what we do. You know,
sure.
I want to experience it. I'm like, all right, the first segment of music's done. All right, we're gonna start another one. All right, we're gonna start playing with this. And like I said, I know for a fact we're sitting here watching the next person on the table there, and it's white. But I never saw a little bit at the end when all the color was going. There was a lot of white in there, but the whole beginning was like gray and black. Or gray and red, actually. The very beginning was gray and white. Gray and black with the newsprint and stuff. But then after that became red and gray up until later on.
It sounded like you had a beneficial experience.
It was very enlightening, undescribable. We'll go with that.
Great. I recommend maybe sitting with the experience through the day, maybe sleeping on it, and then maybe recording some of your reflections tomorrow and see how they've changed or if your day has changed after your light session.
Definitely. I will do that. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Take care.
You too.